Welcome, Alcée, from Maison Alcée to this month's online talk. It's great to have you here. And you do something quite different. You are the first person who's making clocks to appear on one of our talks. But I thought that this clock is really so different that it was worth exploring. And I think many of our members will be intrigued by it, especially if they haven't heard about it before. So to start with, can you please introduce yourself and tell us what you do and what Maison Alcée does?
Okay, so thank you very much to welcome me. I'm sorry for my English, it's not perfect. So please, if you don't understand my accent, please stop me and I will be happy to repeat again. Thank you so much. So my name is Alcée. I am the co-founder of Maison Alcée. We developed this with my husband 5 years ago. But in fact, it's a story that began 25 years ago when I was a little girl. I loved making something by myself, by my hands. It was really a source of accomplishment to create with my hands. Then I became engineer, and during my engineering school and after graduating, I had the opportunity to work for beautiful maisons like Hermès, Cartier, Richemont in watchmaking and Tag Heuer. And I discovered the beauty of craftsmanship. And in this maison, I say, okay, the work for craftsman is so beautiful because craftsman, it was my point of view, craftsman had so proud to okay, in other words, I will say in this maison, I discover three things for craftsmen. I discover the culture of beauty. I discover the need for this craftsman to reconnect with something real, something manual, and the pride when they finish their products, they are so proud of themselves, but a good pride.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to work for them. And I discovered watchmaking at Richemont and Tag Heuer. It was incredible to discover this for me. I didn't really know watchmaking before. It was beautiful because it was really, for me, what is interesting in watchmaking, it's between the border of philosophy with the concept of time and science with very technical subject to create a movement that can work. So after this experience, I decided to create my own company to allow at all enthusiasts around the world the possibility to discover the beauty of a part of the beauty of watchmaking know-how. And my point of view is the best way to share watchmaking know-how is to allow at all enthusiasts to be able to assemble their own movements in their house. Because when you assemble by yourself, you will understand with your hands, with your not spirit, but intellectual, and with your heart, with emotion. So together you will understand and learn better than only with a book, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the beginning of the project of Maison Alcée to create a movement that every enthusiast can be able to assemble to discover a part of watchmaking know-how.
But you decided to make a clock. So why make a clock instead of a watch?
So it was the goal. At the beginning of Maison Alcée, the goal wasn't to create a clock or watch. It wasn't this.
Okay.
The goal was to share a part of watchmaking around the world. At all enthusiasts of watchmaking want to discover the beauty of a movement and to understand better the function of their movement. We choose a clock because in our Alcée table clock, it's the same movement. We develop a movement, the same movement than a watch movement, but just with bigger dimension. So the enthusiast can understand better the function of their watch, the movement of their watch, but with bigger dimension. And it's the same movement as a watch movement, but thanks to this dimension, it will be easier for an apprentice, for an enthusiast who are not a watchmaker, to assemble and to succeed. It was the goal to succeed during all the steps of the assemble of your Percy. So it was, and also because I love clocks, but it wasn't the first subject. First was really to understand the movement, and the second is because for me clocks is very interesting because it's very an emotional object, a product, because you can look at this in the comfort of your home, and yeah. So it was the goal, but I'm not a watchmaker, I'm an engineer. At the beginning of this project, so my husband come with me, and we create a very qualified team with, maybe you know him, it's Thierry Ducret, who is one of the best craftsmen in France in watchmaking. It's meilleur ouvrier de France. In France, we say meilleur ouvrier de France, but it's a very high watchmaking level. And also because it's watchmaking teachers. It was really important to have this. So Thierry Ducret and Jean-Marie Desgranges in our team was watchmaking teachers. And thanks to their knowledge, they know the difficulties of their students in their first year in watchmaking school. Yeah. And so thanks to their knowledge, we develop a movement that everybody can be able to assemble. And we have in our team engineer, of course, and a designer. So it was 5 years ago, we developed this movement. And at the end of this work, we create, maybe I can show you pictures.
Yeah, please do, if you've got them loaded up.
Did you see the pictures or not?
Yes, we can see your whole screen, so you might want to maximize the picture.
Is this?
Yep.
Okay. So we develop this watchmaking box set with everything the enthusiast need to assemble it. So the enthusiast will have the 233 components, all the components. Only the regulator is pre-assembled. It's the only component, and of course the resort in the barrel, but it's the only component will be pre-assembled in the watchmaking box set. The goal was to go deeper in the learning of watchmaking. So the enthusiast will receive this box set with 3 levels, everything, 233 components, all the tools. You see the tools, there is screwdrivers here. And for example, the screwdrivers are specially developed for an apprentice, for an enthusiast who are not watchmaker. I'm not sure about the traduction, but this, it's another material to reduce the risk of scratch during the assemble. Softer than the usual screwdrivers to reduce the risk of scratch. You will have all the tools necessary during the assembly, the awl, the tweezer. You have little one here also in this little box. You will have the micro, so you will have all the tools. And maybe one thing very important, you will have a book. It's a beautiful book. It's not a little book, you see. It's a beautiful book. Maybe I can show you other pictures. First, in the book, it's a book. The book will guide the enthusiast during the assemble step by step. But the first part of the book is about the story of watchmaking, a part of the story of watchmaking. So we are working with museum
Hmm.
to, if the enthusiast wants to discover a part of the culture of horology, he can discover a little bit of watchmaking know. There is a second part about the tools. How I can be sure to use correctly the tools. How I can use the screwdrivers correctly. And so thanks to the knowledge of their watchmaking teachers, we explain very clearly comment je peux dire ça all the tools.
Hmm.
And after you will have the of course l'assemblage, the assembly step by step. So it's not only to assemble your clock, your table clock, is of course to understand what you are doing. So we will say, for example, you will synchronize the chime with with this time, and we will teach you, will explain you everything to understand. So the enthusiast will have the book. It can have a QR code to look at all the video for all sequences of the assembly of his table clock. And maybe it's one very important thing. We will create with him a private WhatsApp group with the enthusiasts and our watchmaking team. So if the enthusiast had any question, we can be sure that he can succeed during the assembly. It's really our goal is to allow all enthusiasts to be able to assemble his very own table clock and understand what he's doing. So this WhatsApp group, we can guide the enthusiast if he had any question. And also, I didn't explain you this, but it's not only to assemble your table clock, it's also to, how can you explain this in English, is to realize the quality control is not the good word, but there is another part in the book when you finish the assembly of your timepiece. We'll say, okay, congratulations, but now you have to check if everything is all right. If the power reserve is correctly of 2 weeks, if the advance and delay is good, if the hourly chime is nice and the thing of the hourly chime is good. And if it's not, we will explain how you need to adjust to have the good result of your table clock.
Hmm. Well,
So
I've seen it in person, and it's I was lucky enough to meet you and see the kit, and it really is, incredibly well designed and thought out, and all the pieces are very beautiful. Um, so I guess my question is, which parts were the most difficult to create and design and think about?
um, I don't know. Maybe I can show you the final product, final timepiece, so I can explain to you. Oh, did you see my screen? My
Yeah.
screen? Okay. So at the end of the assembly, you will have a perceptible clock like this. You see it's the same movement that a watch movement. You can't see very well in these pictures. You see there is a regulator. You have the barrel here, so it's a mechanical movement. You have the hour, minutes, seconds, and the little hourly chime you can activate it or deactivate it. And you can put this perceptible clock in horizontally or vertically position. Whenever you want, you can move to a position to another. So this is the timepiece at the end of the assemble. Maybe one of the difficult challenge was to to make sure that every enthusiast can succeed during the assembly. It was not easy at the beginning because when we explained this project 5 years ago, the watchmaker said, "You are crazy. It's not possible. You need to to."
Do you want to just come back off sharing?
Okay. Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. Thank you.
You need to become a real watchmakers to do this. So it was, and I understand their points, but
Yeah.
it was really the goal to share watchmaking and to develop something that every enthusiast around the world can succeed. So it was really important to develop our movement. It's the movement of Maison Alcée, and to think point step by step. Is it okay for an enthusiast who are not a watchmaker to do this? If not, how I can explain correctly in the book, in the video, to make sure that every person can succeed. So it was really the goal. And today, it's maybe more the part of my husband, but today we are really proud to say, okay, every enthusiast, we know them thanks to the WhatsApp group, succeed, and at the end they had their Percé table clock, and they are so proud of themselves because it's not easy. You see, every enthusiast can succeed, but you have to put in a bubble of concentration and to take time.
Yes. Well, it's definitely not easy to make it run on time.
But everybody succeed. You only have to take time to relax, and step after step by step, you will understand and you will be okay. This is good. I can continue. And it's near 10 hours to assemble and to learn for this experience.
So who did you give it to test?
It was really important, this first part. So it was important to test this watchmaking box set at enthusiasts who are not at all meticulous. Meticulous, is it correct?
Yeah.
Meticulous. Yes, there are. In French, we say there are two left hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
We
don't
say
know
that
if
in
you have
English
the
as
same
well.
expression.
Yeah.
And also at people who are not, who know nothing in watchmaking.
Yeah.
They are not passionate of watchmaking. They don't know about mechanic. So we test thanks to them.
So was it friends or family?
It was at the really beginning, it was friends, family. And after it was the ambassador of Maison Alcée who buy the watchmaking box set, but thanks to them, we create a very unique relationship to have their point of view and to make sure that is correct. And thanks to their advice, we optimize.
Yeah. Yeah. So kind of like beta testers, but for
Exactly.
a clock. And yeah, so how's the reaction been? Because it's quite an unusual thing. So I think you launched 3 years ago.
Yes, we have less than 3 years ago of commercializing the Percé double clock. In fact, it was incredible because we launched at the end of 2022 after 3 years of developing Percé. We began in 2022, but next year we received the Audacity Prize at the GPHG, le Grand Prix d'horlogerie de Genève, and it was really important for us because we were really young. Nobody knows us, so it was really important because thanks to this prize, the watchmaking expert, the very private market in watchmaking, say, okay, it's a good watchmaking experience with very high quality. And thanks to this, it was really not easy. It's not the good word, but at the beginning, it was only in France and Switzerland, and it was all. Not all. It was two. It was everything. And after the GPAG, a lot of enthusiasts around the world say, okay, some of them are very passionate of watchmaking with a beautiful collection of watches, and they want to discover better watchmaking. And they say, okay, it's the best way for me to understand, because
Yeah.
I love watchmaking, but I had never the opportunity to correctly understand with my time, to take time to understand. And we have other enthusiasts who do this maybe more to relax. Maybe it's not the good word, but they loved Lego or Meccano when they were young, and they want to create,
Yeah.
to become like a watchmaker, to create something.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's not very many places in the world to even learn watchmaking. But never mind try it as a hobby, as something fun. You know, some places in the UK, yes, maybe Switzerland and France, but the whole rest of the world, there's nowhere to go. So I can understand that this product is attractive to people who've always wanted to try and actually get their hands into the movement. And as you say, with how I can't remember how many parts, 240 parts, you really have to understand everything that's going on.
Yeah, yeah, and exactly. You have workshop, but in watchmaking in different country, in the big place. But it's not only to learn. It's of course to learn to discover watchmaking, but it's also to be proud of yourself. At the
Mhm.
end of the assembly, you have a beautiful timepiece. We have a lot of, not a lot, but a few of our enthusiasts who do this with another person they loved. For example, their son or their girl, and together they share a passion. Like 10 years ago when they're doing Lego together. Now they want to share with somebody they love, or just to take time for themselves and to be proud of of the timepiece you assemble, because the timepiece is really beautiful, and it was the goal to discover watchmaking, to learn watchmaking, but also to have a beautiful timepiece that you are so proud, and you are so proud, and you put in your home, and you say, okay, it's me, I assemble, I can share with my friends or family a part of the knowledge of watchmaking,
Yes,
because everybody can see the object.
absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, it's very, very well finished. It's a very smart clock. There are different options, and yeah, if I ever was to have one, I'd definitely have it on display. Um, I'll pause there and ask if anybody has any questions for Alcée.
I might have missed the start. Sorry, I was late. How long does it take to make the clock from start to finish?
We recommend 10 hours, but it's 10 hours to assembly your table clock, all the movement of your per se table clock, but also to learn the book, to read the book, to just to take time to, yeah, near 10 hours.
Yep. And when you've sold out all of these three clocks that you've got, will you change the design or will you change the colors? What do you do next?
Ah. There is a beautiful project. I can't tell you everything, but what I can say is, for the moment, the enthusiast can assemble is a table clock with the same movement as a watch movement. And here we'll assemble the hour, minutes, seconds, and an early chime. We are developing other complication that all the enthusiasts can add it. Even if you already assemble your per se table clock, you can add another complication and put in this per se table clock. You see, it's.
That sounds very challenging.
Yes, but I'm sure that it can be beautiful, and also we hope to show this at the end of the year. We have a complication I really loved, so we are developing this one, and it will be beautiful in the actual per se table clock. So all the enthusiasts who already assemble can add this other complication to discover other things in watchmaking, and also to continue in the learning of watchmaking and with a beautiful complication.
Very clever. And so, where are the kits made?
So we have the per se table clock. Oh, maybe. No, not the per se table clock. The watchmaking box set, but maybe with the picture it was easier to see it. Everything is made between France and Switzerland. The fabrication of all the components, more than 95% of the fabrication of all the components, all the tools are specially developed between France and Switzerland.
And what is the difference between, let's say, different clocks from your collection?
The collection of Maison Alcée?
Yes.
Maybe I can show you my screen, but you're right, it's not very clear in our website. So if you look at in our website, I'm sure we can do something okay, yes. You have four versions. You have the Perse Azure with this one. Is the blue one. So Perse Azure is this one. You have also Perse Douce, but maybe more sweet. You have also Perse Nuit with really beautiful, with PVD and ruthenium. In the wheels, it's another material with ruthenium, and you have a black PVD in the finishing of the components here. And you have maybe the more exclusive one, the Perse Or. It's every time it's the same experience with the same table clock, but there is a lot of work about the finishing of the Perse. For example, you will have guillochage in the dial. You will have okay, perfect. I have the traduction. Mirror polishing for the hands. You will have anglage here. You see, and it takes for our watchmakers 1 day for one wheels to do the anglage, and we have 6 wheels, so it's really long for our watchmaker to do this the anglage of the timepiece. So it's maybe more about the finishing of the Perse. Is it clear or not?
Yeah. Thank you. And maybe curiosity question: how many customers came back because they scratched a nice polish while trying to assemble?
In fact, I don't know. Not, I say maybe one. Not sure. It's Benoit, my husband, who is helping their enthusiasts if they need help. But I look at all the exchange, WhatsApp exchange, and in fact, the enthusiasts are very. It's very. How can I explain this? In fact, the WhatsApp group is here to support the enthusiast and to make sure everything can be a success, you see. So it's really simple because with WhatsApp we can interact with you very quickly in a simple way. But the good thing is I think 90%, 95% of the enthusiasts, there is no problem. And the 5% is maybe because they adjust this or we need to send a little hands, a little things, but sorry if I'm in English, it's difficult to explain. My point is, thanks to the WhatsApp group, we make sure that everybody succeed, but we don't have a lot of disappointed experience, you see. Very few had a difficulty, and if they had, we will be here to support you to make sure that the experience can be a success. It's really the goal of Maison Alcée. So with every enthusiast, we will be sure that everything is perfect. Is it clear or not?
Yeah. So I understand that in the worst case, if you really scratch, you can contact and
Yes.
maybe get the piece or get to know how to repair it.
Yes, but everything is developed to reduce the risk of scratch, for example, with a good screwdrivers, with a good material, with a good explanation. So normally is okay, you see?
Yeah, but sometimes, different metals react easier and get scratched easier than the others. So
Yeah,
that's understandable. That is easy to make mistake also.
yeah, exactly.
Can I ask a question? What is the inspiration behind the 4 different models I think there are? And why those chosen 4 to begin with? So you have the Persevere All and the Persevere Nuit. Sorry about pronunciation, for English. But yeah, so what was the inspiration or the story behind those 4 clocks? And how do you persuade? How would someone be persuaded to choose between them? Is there like an experience tied to each model, or
Okay, Paul, you're correct because my English is not perfect. I'm sorry, but
yeah,
just to make sure that I understand correctly your question. Your point is why the enthusiasts have to choose this one more than other, or
yeah, like yeah, very much.
uh,
And I think it's also how did you end up with these designs as well?
Oh, sorry.
And the second question I think is how did you end up with these particular designs?
So I will explain to you. We chose at the beginning this design. It was Persée. So Persée, for the little story, is the father of Alcée in the Greek mythology. So it's for this the table clock has his name. But this Persée was chosen at the beginning because I loved the concept to have 2 table clock difference one horizontally and one vertically position. You can choose if you want to have this table clock in horizontally or in vertically. And whenever you want, you can choose to a position to another. So it was really the point I love this design, and also because you can look at all components. You see, every components are in French we say it's a skeleton movement. So you can understand the result inside. You can say, okay, I am at the beginning of the power reserve or at the end of the power reserve. You can look at all components and explain for you and for the other people, for the friends, the function of the world of the watch. So this, what I would like to say is we choose this design. After this, we had the possibility to change a little bit the color of the material, and this one is very traditional one. It's very simple. It's not the good word, but very easy table clock with very traditional color. This one is maybe more modern, very contemporary clock with PVD, and thanks to the black and the yellow, you have a table clock with a lot of character.
Yeah.
And this one, because it's a sweet one, maybe more is not the famous, maybe more for
feminine.
yes, but I really like this, but it's not for everybody. And one of my this is the last one. It's the same concept, but thanks to the finishing of the perceivable clock, is very beautiful because thanks to the anglage, guillochage, everything, you can play with the light. It's a very simple table clock, but with beautiful details. And when you put this percé or in your home, you can play with the reflect of the light, and it's really a beautiful one. So depends of what you want and your character.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's amazing.
Did you get to choose the sound of the chime?
The sound of the chime?
Yes, did you get to choose it?
When you ask me, Amish, what was the challenge, my husband will say the challenge was the chime, because
Right.
Benoit is working a lot with fabrication of his timepiece, and the chime was very, very, very difficult because we work a lot. Can have a good. You see the bell here. We work a lot about the chimes, the bell. We succeed to have a good sound. Sound is correct.
Yep.
So we are so proud of ourselves. It was beautiful, ting. But just after we take these components to put for the laquage, for the color, and after this, it was not good at all because the partner of fabrication put a little tiny quantity of color inside these components, and everything was wrong. So we work a lot with a lot of iteration to have the good sound and to say, okay, now we have to put only this quantity of color in our bell, in our chime, to have the good sound. So it was a very big challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about horology. It's all about the tiniest factor, whether it's a size or whether it's a material. It really is the tiniest details that make a difference.
Yeah.
And now that you're selling these clocks all over the world, what have you enjoyed most about the process? I mean, I assume that, when you first produced it, that was pretty satisfying, but what's been most satisfying since they went on sale?
For me,
Yeah.
would like to say two things. One is the beginning, and the two is the end of the process. I really love to create. I really love making things. So I am so happy when it's possible with my team to develop other things, to things about, for example, the other complication you can put inside this percé. It's really for me a source of accomplishment to create, to create. And the other things, and I didn't expect this at the beginning, but one thing is very incredible with Maison Alcée is we had a relationship with a lot of our enthusiasts, our customers, because we create maybe if the enthusiast wants, of course, but thanks to the WhatsApp group, we create a very personal relationship. And when we move in a country, in other country to travel, for example, we have a lot of enthusiasts who say, "Okay, come to see me. We can have a dinner together," and it's really incredible because we understand why they are doing this experience. And for a lot of people at the beginning, it's because they love watchmaking or they love Lego or Meccano. But at the end of the assemble, it's not the first thing they will say. It's very personal things. Some enthusiasts, we had a father who worked a lot, who had a very big job, was CEO for a good company. He worked a lot, and he said to us, "I'll say it was the best present I never received because I did this experience during 1 week with my son, my big son, and it was difficult for them to reconnect together. And every evening they do these 2 hours together, and they didn't need to speak. They only have to assemble and to put in a bubble of concentration. And he said, okay, it was maybe one of the best moments because I reconnect with something important. So we have story like this. We have another man who say it was the best day of my life because when I I work with a lot of components who don't move, and I put together all the components, I use the key, and everything come to life. It's really emotional. It's really something you can't understand if you have to live this.
Yeah, I think that is the magic of horology. It's why so many enthusiasts do love mechanical watches and clocks as well. And it's why people find them so fascinating. But it's also nice to hear that the community is famously very friendly. So it's nice to hear that your enthusiasts are also so excited to make friends with you and share their stories of how much they've enjoyed it. As we start to finish here, does anyone have any other questions?
And please, our workshop in Champagne in France is not really far from London. So if you come to France, we will be more than welcome to come to our workshop and to discover our watchmaking box set with a little glass of champagne.
Yes, very conveniently located. I think it would be very handy to find an excuse to come. We could bring the whole club, I think.
I'm hoping to be passing through Champagne in September. So if I am, I will make sure I stop in to see.
Please.
Will do.
Okay, well, yeah, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for working hard to speak to us in English. It's been great. I think it's a really fantastic product. I'm delighted I've seen it um, in the metal, and it really is a brilliantly, beautifully finished clock. And so maybe one day I'll get the time to do one myself, and have it on my mantelpiece.
Thank you so much for everybody, and
Thank you.
see you.
Yeah, thank you. I look forward to seeing you again soon somewhere.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.